Very good afternoon, Judge.
So,
It's indeed an honor to be called back again to share God's word with you. Right. Today I want to share on a very special topic. Now, building a dynamic family. Putting first Christ as the strong foundation. Now remember, every Christian family, if you don't have Christ in you, in your family as the head, there is no family meaning at all.
Innsang tina Jisu Christ nei lau tu asilau le Jisu Christ kam thang la ke agar tu Innsang ke sulam anei lau mi Innsang tu se.
Right, as you look into the book of Joshua
sungkan sautika
in Joshua 24 verse 15 it says,
Adun pi guluan le fatel henga sunga hitin kan mo.
But for me and my household, we will serve the Lord.
Kay le ka insung sang chun boy pa kan rian de si dia Joshua la tong.
At that time, God has forgiven the people, and God was guiding the people through to do the promised land.
Himi sevel tuan tu kan sautika pathian in ram tiam mi ami bol akhoi tik chule chan bawuk like ase.
And as the people obey him, as the people follow his ways,
mi people in joy pathian thupe an thun le ke an ka sunga chun
God helped the people cross the Jordan River.
Boy Bible na thon Jordan tiba pila kha an ka le
and took possession of the promised land.
Ram khat an tum ta na hun piang chutin boy pa in lama khoi ri bao.
And here Joshua reminds the people of God's covenant and promise to them.
Pathian in chuti elama khoi du a Joshua mi pi bot le na atla ni pathian thutiam arak pek mi bol kha asim sal.
And he urged them to serve the Lord only.
Joy asim mi chu boy pa pakhan long biak le ama long riat ding ti mi ka se.
Now here Joshua cannot answer for the whole of Israel.
Joshua in Israel politul sammi mo api api tu la ta sedel.
But when the people listen,
asinan mi people in joy atong mi thu an ngai ti ka chun,
and this is what they say,
hitin atong
we will serve him too.
Kan ni khalin boy pa chu kan rian be de nga si tia ante.
So you see, Joshua made a very strong commitment when he said that he and his family will serve the Lord.
Joshua kele ka Innsang boy pa kan rian ding ati mi hi a Thupi zet mi se.
So when he has already made a covenant with God.
Imi atong hlana Joshua hin amali insung sa boy pa rian dinga nunna arak be zau ti afia.
Now remember, putting God as the head of his family, it is an unconditional commitment.
Ito ka Jisu Christ ka Innsang apakhat na ki kan reding mi hi sumtu kan sa te kan Innsang tol bau kan dei mi se.
So you see, Joshua and his family in this relationship as husband and wife, parents and children, they put God first in everything in their lives.
Anin sung sang sa ten boy pa kha anno na apakhat na ka andre se.
So as you put God first in your lives, I believe that your family live a life of contentment with Christ as your foundation.
Boy pa Jisu kha kan bulpa Innsang apakhat na kan de asile choi ara so ding me chu bulpa in sung sang derian na oi na se.
And if you see in the book of Proverbs,
Thupi sung kan zau tika.
Now King Solomon was writing to his male descendants.
Solomon in amir sa pol hena hitin sa angan
and all the young males of Israel.
Afei che in minau de pol hena hitin sa angan mi se.
And this is what he told them: to study the spiritual wisdom of God, to guide them, to bring them up as a dynamic family and a country.
Boy pai sim na lam khoi na kin an nun na khalam khoi dinga ti ka tha za ape mi le sem mi se.
So remember, if you have God with us, there is no need of anything. Amen.
Boy pa kan le ni a mi boy pa in pia sia chun kan nu na tul sam mi kan nei no lau ti kan fet dinga tul.
Yes, I believe that we do not need anything if we put God first in our lives, in our family.
Boy pa kan nu na apakhat na ka chau si le lei lo na tul sam dang hi kan dak nei no lau hi se.
Now this is a psalm that I would like to read to you. Psalm 127 verse 1 through 5.
Psalm sa kul fa sari chang kan sin chang nga tiang kha kan siar din.
It says, unless the Lord builds a house, its builders labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchman stands guard in vain. Verse 2, in vain you rise early and stay up late, toiling for food to eat, for he grants sleep to those he loves. Verse 3, sons are heritage from the Lord, children are reward from him. Verse 4, like arrows in the hands of a warrior are sons born in one's youth. Verse 5, blessed is a man whose quiver is full of them. They will not be put to shame when they contend with their enemies in the gate.
Pathian apakhat na ki re thoi pe paro in himi bawal sang arun siar mi se. Boy pa in so asak lava chun in saktu bolik na tuan chu alak se. Boy pa in kopi akil lava chun khokil tu bolikil be na so alak se. Nan chom na ka sing pitin nan phawe zan lam sim seda nan in. Zon sai na nan ton mi hi alak se. Ziang atile boy pa in adu dot mi ne na chun an tul mi chu an I that so mana abek se. Father so boy pa lak song an se amai mal song nak an se. Now lai I nei mi fa pa chu ral kap iken mi chon kyang bang tok an se. Subang tok chon kyang tam pi anei to chu mi kha so an se.
So you see, if we want to have a strong family, the Lord must build our home.
Get khau mi Innsang kan din na dinga chun boy pa in lamin khoi Innsang sa atul se.
God put him as the head of the family.
Ja sulam chukan mai boy pa ka kan Innsang apakhat na ka re ring khase.
He is your consultant.
Thu tha in ruwa tu le in sim tu ding khala amas se.
He is your teacher.
In ser tu ding khal ke amas se.
He is your guide.
Kalam sin tuan in chi mu tu ding khal amas se.
So when you have him first in the family, you need not have any other things.
Churo boy pa kan nei phot chun Innsang hin tul sammi dang kan dak nei lau hirak se.
So remember that when you put him first in your family's life,
Churo ba kan Innsang na boy pa hi athupi di le pakhat na ke kan de ding re si le.
he will continue to mature, he will continue to grow.
Kan sau na ka boy pa in lamin khoi vi va de se.
And the family will be a blessed family.
So Innsang sa phaswa mi Innsang an si dek de.
Now remember this, without the Lord you can have big houses, you can have many children, right? You
Boy
can
pa
have,
tel la bin in tha na ya thai fa te tam pi khan nei a thai ko.
you can have everything, you can have money, but there will not be any joy in the family.
So ve chil le re le tam pi kan nei a si khale boy pa atet la ba chun longo na kim chuang lau de.
Because there is always emptiness.
Ziang atile kan nu na tlak sam mi thu a ring pathian tel lau pe chun.
Always remember that without him there is nothing.
Ama tel lau chun thian dang mo chu siang pan lau bin dak se.
Now I have seen people with a lot of money,
So le pai tam zaka nei tu ka hotel.
they do not have Christ in their life.
Boy pa sip so an nei lau tika.
There is emptiness.
An nu na tlak sam mi thu nei ring khen na.
They can go out and enjoy themselves,
Nongong na nga hi da lau.
but there's nothing.
An nei mi thil mo kha chu ziang pan lau arak si chu.
And they always worry.
Chin khapan na khin a thuk te cha ran bang ring tel.
They are worried that people will take away their money.
Ziang ruanga an nei an sia hlau ding long kha an thangi himna ti mi kha an na umna.
That is what is happening
Chumi chu mu ton mi la ka kheng re rau mi thil se.
when you don't have Christ in your life.
Nanun khala boy pa na nei lau si le chu be thau se.
You can have a big bungalow.
Chiel tum zat na nei mi tha ding.
When you come back, it's like empty.
Asina chu na dai mi se boy pa si su atel lau den siang man lau ve kirak se re.
And I can tell you that I've seen many experiences in this type of family life.
Chu te ve hoi pe pa ro in su sa ga hian mu ton na dam pi au me.
There is always fighting in the family.
In su sa boy bai na tong na a kheng chel.
Husband and wife cannot agree.
No pi le pasar ka la ka lu ro na au tang thei lau.
Sisters and brothers, they fight.
Ule na au ka la ka lu ro na au thei lau.
Only thing they look to the parents is for money.
No na pai ne ni min bai pe ka su pai ma du na dam lo se.
Only money make them happy.
Sum na pai au si le lu oi na ti khan ro
Only
ni se.
outside enjoyment make them happy.
Ale nga vak so ken chui sum pai su no ngong na ka an pa ge.
When they come back to the home,
Ina na kun sal ti ka
empty.
sia man lau rak sila la.
That's all.
Chulo si an ma bak chu.
So always remember this.
Chulo ka thei tu na set mi chu.
There is no way you can have a wonderful and joyful and a blessed life without Jesus our Lord.
Si su tel lau chun an nuam mi a het khau mi insang ke kara thei lau ti ka toi su na sim ka do mi se.
Now I have here 5 aspects of building a strong family.
Chulo hi ang het khau mi a chak mi anum mi insang din thei denga thil panga toi su la tar lang do mi ka nei.
Now here we take the first one, strong sense of commitment. Commitment.
Pe ko na kum pe na hi abakhat na ka se.
First, it must start with the man and the woman.
Nu pi le pasali sin nu la le pa ka la ke sin an to mi se insang chu
They get married.
insang an dine.
And when you get married, you make a vow before God if you are a Christian.
So
Right?
ve ke Christian in song sang din tu pol chun mi pi le pathian mai thu tiam nak ta an nak theo.
But many people,
Asina mi tam pi in
when they marry,
in song sang din tika.
they take their vows very lightly.
So thu tiam nak an lak mi chu sia an siar na bi an thu pi kar lam theo.
Now remember, this is one of the vows that you make for better or for worse when you marry each other.
Chu te ve ki thu tiam nak kan la mi khan ne ta kan tu sok lau si le. Han sat nak khen kar tu se.
That means you go through anything, whether it's good or bad, you go through together, right?
Sia ruwa ile in sang ti me so ahar aol anoma fe ta ke kar ta ni kan nak se.
So if it is bad, either the husband or the wife wants to get out of it.
San arung her tika nu pi la min mo pasal la min mo chui thu tiam na ki sin tan suak tu ta ki an theo.
Is it right?
Asi kau lam.
Wrong, isn't it? Because you make a vow before God that for better or for worse. That is your commitment to God.
Asina Christian insang adit pur hanga chun boy pai ni thu tiam na kan pe mi kha han sa le lungoi chan khai dam su ke kat la ding se.
So now remember, it is a commitment. You have to make a commitment that sustain your love together as husband and wife.
Churwa insang nge khau din dinga chun khal le kha pe ko na ki khal le kha renok ton na ki ara tol tok mi se.
Now remember this, when you get together as husband and wife, you fall in love, isn't it?
In sok sa kan din tika du do na ro din mi si chawe.
Husbands and wives here, you fall in love before you get married, isn't it?
Layok na na du do na ki na thok sila so.
Or you just look at that man and say, oh, very handsome, I want to marry you.
Mga mo ke na tiar lok mai ha.
I've heard that before, no?
Kaya ka,
That man very
karat
handsome,
kay mi
I want to marry you. And then also girls,
Na na ka chuya thau thau se.
also men also say, wow, that girl very pretty, got very nice and so on. I want to marry her. Is that love?
Amoy ti tiar lok mai ta dum du do nak tel la bin.
Is that love or not?
这是du do nak se thei ke.
So remember, you fall in love.
Churo isu sa din dinga khat de khat du do ton nak khoi re dok nak ya jul tok mi se.
So you see, you don't fall out of love.
Chu ti du do nak kan nei si le.
You don't fall out of love.
Choi du do nak su ke sin kan tan sok lau de ke kan ma kan tan sok kan tum lau de.
You see, God loved us so much, isn't it? He says, yeah, He loved us so much that He gave His only begotten Son to us.
Boy pa in do do na afaba tiang in pek na kha kan in sung sa kan ro ring ding miss.
Any time did He fall out of love?
So in do do na kisin patient te atlan suak da mo, atlan suak da alam.
No, isn't it? Once you accept Him, He loves you so dearly that He will continue to love you, continue to care for you, continue to fill you up.
Boy khat boy pan in do do ti mi kan sum tika kan dam sum kan siat kan chata ani chun in do do tlang ka se.
But most people, they run out of love.
Asina mi tam pi chun chui do do na so an tan chan tel.
So you see, if one party wants to leave,
Adama nun do na chin lo tel.
you should say, I'm going with you.
Churwa ta chim na ka in sung sa nu pi mo pasalin mo. Katlan ding at isile kay khalgalaw thun ning ti mai de.
Because you make a very strong vow, isn't it?
Siang ruwa ti le siang vet in hun khali thelo law ding at thutiam na la tu
For better or for worse.
ahara anoma chuti fe ta ngi thutiam na nan la mi se.
And you must always remember that. We say for better or for worse, and you must love each other forever. Right?
Dam sung rau ri chuti du do to dinga thutiam na la tu kan sikha.
Because you also make a vow with God.
Patien ne rau ri thutiam na kan tua.
Unto death will be part.
Churwa ma chumi chu nun pi le ke gar pi ding se.
So when you get married, remember all this.
Churwa in sa kan din tika mo adin zau tu khal themi he kan thei de ga tho tok mi se.
Like, don't halfway any see your wife sleeping, you run away.
Churwa in sa nu itha sung ti be ka tan san ti be mo kha thala.
There's no such things. For us Christians, we have God with us.
Sum to sun chumi su kan to alaw de thep thep se.
There's no fighting.
In sung sa elo na boy na khalung ha se.
If you fight and quarrel,
Boy na elo na au masile.
in the Bible says that you must make up before dusk.
Churwa in sung sa boy na au masile dai ter de kan som ding mi se.
Come together again.
Mon khata tlang in
Talk, discuss, and make up again.
ruo o in tua thatok sal ding kan tum ta re
It's
mi
very
se.
important because unto death to be part. No such thing as easy way you run away.
So be ke khal le khat chin lu kan nei law asile then che ko na bol te sok theo.
So remember, problems come, you face them together.
Har sanna ara khena si khale pa tlang tlang ding ke gar tlang ri thau thau se.
So you must understand that strong marriages take the following words.
Churwa himi thutiam na kan la mi kan tok sok mi kha kan khil long so na to ki kan la ring kha thupi.
And then you take a stone, you carve on it.
Ta chim na ka lung hak zet kan kher ve ki si.
I am committed to you.
Na khala kum ka pe zau ki kha kan sim ding mi se.
So for us, there is no such thing as divorce.
Churwa kan khala thedo na ki la se ti mi kha kan tok sok ding kan lu put ding se.
So always remember that you cannot run away from your marriage in the Lord.
Nei sung sang tan sanin na tan sok thei sok law de. Boy pan in hore ga se.
So you see, if you as parents and your relationship and lifestyle is not right, how can we teach our children, as in the Bible it says, in the way of the Lord?
Churwa fale bol kan boy pai lam sin kan fer thei na de ga nu le pa hi kan thupi tok lo ma.
So today you see I'm teaching you, from what call that, men and women to getting married, to being parents, and to the children.
Ka tho ka sim mi kha hi tin at pu ro mi se. In sum sang din na ke sin adin zau tu in fa te thoi pe sa mo na ti kha ka be du mi se.
So as parents, there are two ways you can convey the sense of commitment to a child.
Churwa nu le pa khalin fa te pa ri pe ko ding mi chuan ba kan nei mi khala thau thau.
Now you must always tell your children that they are a blessing and not a burden.
Churwa fa le ni na himi kan chok ding ha thupi zet tha ka te zet ke ma khalin nang hi phul rit na selaw aswa na si di he kan sim ring ur gi de ga tha.
Now I have heard this, when parents are angry, this is what they tell their children. They blame their children.
โน่นป้าอันเดียเสียอันชินฮาร์ติกาอันชินเฮติกาซาเลโมทุกเลโก้ลูกตาที่กันฝังเทวอันท่าเราต้องมีเสีย
Because you are born here with me now, I have to spend more money.
อาคุณผลกันทิ้งกันทาวีในเลเซียทุกขลาเห็น
I want to go higher in my career. I cannot because of you.
จะรู้ว่านั่งหมายรู้ว่าจุดที่คดีที่ขโมยทุกนักตั้งปีฟ้าในบ้านกันแข่งเทว
Then sometimes they tell their children, you come up at the wrong time.
จะรู้ว่ามีเด็กเหล่าสงถ้าเหล่าสงที่อาคุณผลกันฟ้าในปีใบนักกัน
You say come at the wrong time, you don't get married. Right? Right not?
อินสงสารเดินเหล่าเสลาส่วนเหล่าเด็กปีกันมาอินสร้างกันเดินนอร์ปอดเมียนเซ่
Like some people, when they get angry, they tell their children, I found you in the dustbin.
จะรู้ว่าเฮ้ฟ้าในบอลโกกันไม่ให้ขัดตาจนเขียนดอกปุ้งถอยเปย์มาได้แค่อัพพุ่นผลกันโกกันลีกเทล
Now always remember this, there are no mistakes.
เลยลงทุนละฟ้าเตกันไหนมีขี้ปังตีกันไหนมีสิละโวยไปแค่ส่วนเซ่
Or accidents.
ที่ละจังปังมีขันสิละ
Or surprise with God.
มังบังสายกันงามีขันสิละโวยไปแค่ส่วนเซ่
He gives me, he gives. He takes away me, he takes away.
โวยปานาเปกาชนะเปสิไหมอาลักษาละจนอาลักษาสิไหม
Then you must always let them, your children know that they are loved unconditionally.
ยังเวทดินหุ่นขลากันดูโดที่มีฟ้าในขาเลนูเลยไปดูโดนะอันเต็มงาเด็กทุกปี
Do you know that many parents they set very high standard for their children?
มีแค่ขัดนู่นเลยป้าจูขลากินติดเจนเจงนุ่งกาดุงเชียว
You must study and become a doctor.
สารเสด็จเงี้ยสิบอยละจวนดิ้งติเว
You
กิน
must be an engineer.
เอนจิเนียร์ละจวนดิ้งติเวกิน
Now this is wrong.
ที่ฮีอดีตครูมีสิละ
We must accept the child as who he is.
เจ้าสิเสียละดูเสียละตุ้มตาที่มีกันเพศสังเวชชา
We must not force a child and make the child to work for something.
จะรู้ว่ากันดูมีทางโลกจวนเลยสิดิ้งขากันตูนเลยกันเฟียลเด็กสิละ
That is given freely.
อันหมายจะเล่นนักเที่ยวชาตัวนักสัตว์ละกันอ่อนดิ้งขัดปีเสีย
Because when you set all this unconditional, with this conditional love with them, that means you don't care. You don't really love them. You just want them to be somebody that you can be proud of.
จะรู้ว่าฟ้าเลยฮีอารมณ์ตั้มปีกันเปย์กันกิลโคยห่วงกันขัดสักตัวก็สิเลยกันดูโดนอะไรจะสารตัวดิ้งไปนักเสีย
Now, so always remember that we must make a child work for something that is given freely.
จะรู้ว่าอามาเลยอาโซนัทิลสวนสิเราเมตัวเทน่าสีเทน่าสารกันเปย์ดิ้งขัดขัดตัวตรง
Love,
ดูโดนน่ะ
acceptance,
เจ้าทานโนน่ะ
and self-worth.
มาเตะกันเทน่า
To them that they are proud, they are worth it.
สุนัขริชโนน่ะเลยมาเลยมาเก็บขบวนน่ะนั่นเองเดียว
Now, you mustn't also another thing motivate them on comparison.
ถ้าจำเป็นเลยนุ่นตัวชัดดิ้งขาดกันตุ้มตาดิ้งไม่เสีย
You see, your neighbor, you see that Joe can do it. Why can't you?
จะรู้ว่าตาชิมนาการมีตัวไทยตัวบางอย่างหมดท่าจำกันเป๊ะกันสดเสียดิ้งตาขาดทุนเสีย
Remember, always motivate your child on what he is. What he is.
อาชีน่าเวกิตัวชัดดิ้งกันตุ้มดิ้งไม่เสีย
Now, this is a true story I want to share with you.
ที่ละจังง่ายมีถั่วตัวเราสิกันดู
In the year 1924, a boy named Johnny, who loved to play sports, completed his secondary school education.
ท้องกันสักว่าบนล้วนเลียจอนี่ที่มีป้าเฮเลียนางลำถอยเปปาโรเอรักไปตุกไม่เสีย
To celebrate his father, rich in love, but short of money.
อาป้าฮีดูดเทียมเสตัวสินานสุมเลไปหัดสัตว์ในตัวเสีย
Gave Johnny a card on which he has written his own 7-point rules of greed.
อาสินานช่วยอาป้าจนอาฟ้าเตียงหางจันทาปาระท่าสามเป็กนักสาหิตินอารันสั
Which he encouraged his son to start following daily.
สมัยจนนี้ติมเตะอาฟ้าไปอัดหุ่นดิ้งอดุสักเมเซ
Now, 3 of the points were drink deeply from good books.
อาป้าขันนักสูสบุท่าสุกเสียงเที่ยวท่าพอสวกหลักสวกเด้งขาเซ
Especially the Bible.
จะสูไบเบิลเซ
Make each day your masterpiece.
Ni din te chiang chatua na le ke karna ke pangdinga.
Pray for guidance and give thanks for your blessings every day.
Boy pai ne na thaswa sidige thachap na dun than nak nei ding kase.
So you see, Jesus is what we often call the Lord's Prayer.
Boy pai thasam kan mu me khala.
See, he taught us to approach our Heavenly Father each day.
Ni din te boy pa kau ding bedinga Jisu khalin inser mi se.
It's not something to be said once and forgotten.
Voi khat kan simi ngil san min selawin simre rau samre rau dire rau ding kan se.
Remember this, through it we offer God's praise,
Joto ka boy pa thang thatna kan pe
seek His kingdom
au na ta kan hoi adu na ta kan hoi
and His will.
adu na le amai tha ati mi khal thun dinga
Trust His provisions
amai in sob na ta ring sat bi bau dinga
and ask for His forgiveness,
angai dam na dil dinga
power and deliverance.
athil ti thai na le salen na dil ding khala se.
So that is what the Father taught Johnny.
Chusu apa in afa pare asir mi thu chu se.
Throughout his life, Johnny sought the Lord's strength to live each day for Him.
Chulo nga chui ni si thokin chui boy pai khatsam asir mi pangin boy pai lam khoi nak sa na chu khatsam na thon adil ang yem reng reng chori chun.
So he became a professional basketball player at university and one of the greatest managers of all time.
Siti ike akar tinga nikhata chun bom tu tha le ngai gan tu tha nei lau khal sala basketball le na ka Malaysia ro pi tiang suak thei min bin thang sa ta rum chang se.
Now, when manager John Wooden died at the age of 99, he was honored most of all for his character, his faith, and the many lives he touched.
Kami to khato ke Malaysia pa John Wooden ti mi pa in athi zo nga joy joni he ne asim ta mi le sun loi na apek mi chu Asia sa azum na le ananda ka se.
So always remember this, by God's grace, may we each day our masterpiece, make each day our masterpiece for Him.
So ni tin te boy pai du da boy pai sak siap mi boy pai tu chat mi boy pai ke dar pi mi kan se ding te Thupi to lo ma.
Now in Proverbs chapter 6 it says, it teaches that children to keep their father's commands and not to forsake their mother's teaching.
To fi ma tum pi par suwa kan mu mi so fa le in nu le pai thu zir mi ngai sak le Thupi ter ding khain se mi se.
So you all must remember that our parents' teaching is a light and the corrections of discipline and the way of life.
Chalo nu le pai thu in sim mi hi lam sim tha kan so e si kan nei se dam su ke kan ka thiam na de ga se.
The next one is communion.
Apan di na pe du mi chu pe so mok na se.
Now always remember that now to make a family happy is not having a big house, expensive cars, the latest iPhone. Many of you have the latest iPhone, isn't it? Make you happy or not?
Esong sang no din de ga phone tha tha in sang tha tha nak tha tha Thupi big mi arak sela.
Now you must remember that the most important thing is the doing things together.
Thupi son mi in sang chak in sang lo ting in sang lom cho ziam ke ma ti tang na se.
Nowadays many people they are too busy to spend time with their family.
Chalo boy sala in sang tak pi cho in song sang khat le khat chan am pyo thei non na.
The father is working here, the mother is working here.
Ano khilama apa khilama fa le hilama ti in hun khata sa pi in an pang tang thei non na.
Then the children are everywhere.
Fa le bol khala dang danga an bak suk sau to.
Come back, you see your children are sleeping.
Kana ton sa ti ka fa le bol biak te rum lau anak ithat mo khabe khasit thu thang.
What do you gain by that?
Cho to ki sin jiang ha thil tha kan mu mi
What type of family can you build?
Cho te vek su ki sin jiang tin so in song sang nuam le lo ting chu kan tin thei de.
Sometimes even your children cannot remember their father or mother.
Fe khat ta chu no le pa man chi mu man lau ta dum the anum theo.
Because you work so late, you are 2 a.m., 3 a.m., you come back, they are sleeping. The next day morning, you already are out, they are going to school. Right or not?
Sia la ti le na tuan thu na le thu na dang dang ro in sang chan kan pe thei la wo ga se.
So it's very wrong to do that.
adik lau tuk mi la thalau tuk mi se
We must spend quality time with our family.
Innsung sang khon athami anuam mi chan pan ta ding ka tul tu
Now remember that your presence is very important to the children to build them up when they are.
fa le bol kan pina annum thua thatna deu thagi atu tuk mi ra se
Spend some time doing things together.
fa le bol thoi chan pan ta ti mi an pagira tul tuk mi se
Now you must spend as a family to build strong bond.
chura in sang achak mi anuam mi kan tin tang theina denga mun khati chan pan ta kan thiam tang ke yu
Now you see, some people say we spend quality time is right, and some people say quantity time.
me tampi in sa tampi pe thausi in fa le thoi pe samo na tha quality tha de lau mi ta dum
Now
chao
it's not how much or how good, but it is very important that you have quality time when you have quantity time.
me ve ka fa le sa tam se pe na I fa le thoi athami quality anai mi pe samo na le lau ta adum chao
So-
kan cha na tam mo mal ti na kin fa le thoi kan pe samo na tha kan nei to bi so
So when you do that, you get to know each other better.
chuve ki cha kan man khom jega kan du mi kan khot mi siam kim kha kan thei thiam ok sak tu
So you can tell whether the person, when you look to him in his eyes, whether he's telling lies or not.
chura khan le khan thu phan ma thu tha ma siang siang si khalen kan bu tak thui
So because when you come to know him or her so well, then you can tell.
churwa chuve ki kan thei femo ni ga kan ma kan tu na kha kan simoi kan remo chu Innsang na tha mi se
Always solve problems together.
churwa hasan na Innsang au mi fa le nu le pai au mi khal sa te kan tuan ta kan ti ta ni kha atol to
Enjoy each other doing things,
khan le khat kan tuan mi a nu mo ta ni kan se
helping each other.
khan le khat bo mo na ka nu mo ni kan se
Now I want to ask here, how many husbands and wives you spend times together, go somewhere?
toy so na sok tu la ka nu pi le pasal ale nga nom na va tla na ale da te nan no
Away from your work?
na tuan na thu thoi pe pa ro in suk sang sa pe ale ga ba so na ale ka da mo
Away from your work and all the things that you don't have to think of.
na tuan na mo dong tu lin sumi Innsang ha nu pi ha pasal ha sa pe sa kan pang da mo
Hold hands and go into the cinema and watch.
yok sin ve ta ba sau ta te nan da mo
That's quality time.
chu ti ve ki nu pa kar la ka pe so mo na tha thoi mo na cha kan pang ta mi in suk sang ti he
Get
ko
to
se
know each other, get to understand each other.
khale khat kan ne lo na atam ti re kan pe so mo na khala that kar se
See or not? And then it's also quantity time. You have more time together and you can build each other up better, to understand each other.
choro san kan nei ding a thupi ro ro lin choi san kan nei mi suwa pe so mo na tha kan nei pe ding kha e suk sa kan tu to mi se
It's the same as you spend your this time with your children.
chu me so fa le thoi pe pa ro e karon sim du mi se
Now all of us are busy working. Right now, those who have families, how many times have you taken your children, let's say, to go to the zoo or go somewhere outing together?
na tron ro kan boy si ka na nu le pa bol ka la so de fa le po tho an so na de ga an lo ne sin na de ga a trick sang zong ve ka bo hun da ga a ba pi thiam da de kan mo
To get to know them better.
an du na khu le kha pe so mo na tha de ding kan nei da mo
So all in all, I would say is that even as husband and wife, as our parents and as children together, as a whole family,
no bi le pasar ka la ka nu le pa fa le ka la ka chi ti de so thil cha kan to de mi
we
se
should sit together as a family to solve problems.
har sam na khala tau tang ren tang in
Enjoying each other doing things,
khale khat kan ti mi a nu mo tang in
helping each other.
khale khat bo mo tang in sa kan phang ta ka yu
Now remember that time with families, say to them, it is a priority. You must have it.
churwa in sung sang ti mi a lang ve te kan nu na apakhat na ka kan de de de
So there is no such thing as a substitute for time spent together.
ziang ro a ti le in sung sang thoi pe pa ro e asa thu thei mi thila lau te ka in sung sang thu thoi pe pa ro ka asa kan thu lau de
So you must understand that building up the family needs both the parents with one mind agreeing on the same thing.
churwa chin lung put pakhat ruana pakhat kan nei tlak theina dinga chu te ve kan tul mi se
So you see, parents they should gather together first and agreeing on the same matter.
no le pa in fa te kan pe somo na khala du dan lung put bango kan nei atol adang pakhat ti fa le kan pe so ma chala
Before letting the children know or telling them.
chuan fa le kan simling ti khala sumi kan lung put bol so no le pa hi an lung bol ti an thei ting khatol
Because if you don't have, let's say the mother tell one thing, the father tell one thing, what's going to happen? The children look at you, confused. Right?
noi sim mi adang pai sim mi adana si le nun sim nak na at so alut la wi an nok thu men
That's very important that you all must agree together and tell them the same thing.
chuna fa le nun kan sim na kan pe bar na ka nu le pa hin lung khat kan nei ding atol
So as parents, you must always first come and agree on the same matter before letting the children know.
churwa lung put khat kan nei du lo ma fa le khan nun sim le kai huai ding kha kan tum ta tla ka yu
Now remember, parents, never disagree things and quarrel in front of the children.
fa le ba ya kim shima chin lung ba wa lao zong le e lo zong le buai zong khik ki lao ding ye tu atu pi to
They will lose confidence in you.
zia ti le alau rin san na alau upat na kha amal ter mi ba ding
They will not respect you.
alau upat na kha amal mi ba ding
So you see, as a song, the next one is as communication.
abathum na ka be ka do me so khale khat pe somok na se pol ko mok na thu do in pe somok na se
Have you seen a family that come back at home without talking?
en so sara tlonge tong da lo thau thai sa lo so
No or not? Many. They come back, children come back, they come back, they're all together, they're going to eat quietly. And most,
ba ra tlong no ra tlong sa mam be ron ron e tlang e khat enum chen chen men kha be khat doi sana tam tok sao
and nowadays, all of you are not. Right or not? Do they talk or not? Do they tell each other things or not? No.
no bi le pa sal fa le kar la khal bia ko na la thak 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 an tre ro
So you see, all these will create a very bad family.
hiba pol hin in su sang pe pol ko mok na lo se lao pe somok na khal in di set su to chang thang
See, we must always get together to share our feelings.
choroga no bi le pa sar ka lak fa le kar la ka kan ruak dan kan ton mi kan lungo kan re sia na khal le khat ro na chan ta kan nei de ka to thau khom
Husband and wife, you share about your work, right or not? It's
no
not
bi le kar la ka
a problem.
kan na chon thu mo kan phul rit mo kan lungo na mo ro ta de se
I don't think you all do that.
ato la mi tam pi na num ne ka zum
Children, they come back. You don't know their problem because you look so sad. You don't even care to ask them.
fa le bon min mai sia an na sun mana nu le pa tam pi jo rak sut la mi men ta kan um thel
So we must understand and share our feelings.
kan thuru ami asia acha lungo na mi sian na ka khat de khat kan so pa tang ka yu
Then you must be good listeners.
chuti ve ki fa le mo no pi pasal in ruwa ti khala thupi to bin kan na ngai sat le
Now you see, sometimes you see when you are at home, your children they come back. Some of them they just like that. You ask them something, they do that. Right or not?
fa le an na to no le pai kan via te ka thi thai be la ve hiti tak sa chang be ni mi rak bia ka um thel
So some of them will just, you talk to them, they make their face. Right.
amin mai long ta na lang bia min bia sa um thel
Even some of you look at them, you don't want to look at you.
nu le pa zau rau ri khal zau pai lau in tu sana fa le kan pin zau
Some you tell them, they answer you, I don't know.
jiang so di khala ka thei lau ti min ti luk lau
So you must be able to catch all this.
sumi bua kan nu le pa in pe som na cha kan nei thei ni ka kan tuan dau se
And it is important, you must be available for them.
churwa chubang pol phi sin thei de ga chung fa le phala jiang ti khala pe som na in nei thei de kha ton
Take them to one side and talk to them.
an mai la ma ta ba ding in ba toy o min tha ka pe in an ruwa mi pol sim thei de ga kam thok sok thiam ni ka kha ton
Nowadays, teenagers, they have a lot of problems.
toy san minau tam pi chu mi sari ta mien se
We must be available to talk to them.
an khala nu le pa chan be thei lau an tam tu
We must be able to listen to them.
an thorsuwa du mi an thurua na an reset lung oi na ngai sak tu nei lo minaw tampi an
How many of us do that?
Tôi so na nu le pa in sung sang siang mazat chu be kan dem.
And for those young couples, young people here, you listen, this is also for you.
Tôi so na in sa din hilaw mi minaw po khali hi kan ke kang dai ding mi tul set mi se.
The next thing is be considerate.
Sami dua in sang het khau din ding a pe zamong na dua se ka tul tien khat le khat ruwa sakok na khatul.
You see, if we can do things for others outside,
Chil ale ma tua dik pakhat khathu na usela.
there are people from outside. Sometimes we are just as our office workers.
Ale lammi sin ta tua bit ve mo.
They ask for anything, we can be there to give it to them.
An ve na cha pe tul mi ta theo dem.
But when your own son or when your own daughters or when your own people ask you, you don't even bother. You don't even care.
Chubeka inak su tika mitam pingai saklau kan theo.
And you don't even bother to listen to them, you just walk away.
E ngai saklau ben kan tan hau san chan ta ve tam pi
Now don't take your family members for granted.
Na in sung sang thoi pe pa ro thil khak ngai saklau ve da da.
Now be demonstrative. That means to show.
Nalung na kin na fa le na in sang thoi pe pa ro kha na pe som na athat sia kha lang karin ko.
When you know it's your wife's birthday, go and get something for her.
Na in sang noi suan cha masile siang gal tua sakta thiang o.
You get what you want, a rose for her, she'll be very happy.
Pang ba pakhat kal pe ola hi som sa ve le.
Right or not? Okay? The same thing with your children. Even though you know there's birthday, they appreciate it, you know.
Cha fa le kan lak khala an suan cham te ti ve kan sung loi te ben tua thei lau khalen kan sun loi na kan ngai sak na an suan cham ve ka ta siang ti so men su kan lak kar chem de kha jo.
You cannot give them anything, you just get a cake and sing happy birthday to them. They will appreciate it.
Aman ol jat mi ai tha ta kan le sak de kha ta kan sak sa de ge chu tin fa le to thop kan kiam ke yo.
Another thing is that be wise.
Phim khot ta kan jo.
You are a Christian, you marry a Christian.
Christian le Christian in sung sa den me kan sing.
Right. Then your head of the family must be a Christian.
So in sung sang how to be kan chu kan Christian si na he kan le kha si jo.
Now remember that anything without a head is dead.
Jiang ve ran nong khal luwa nei lau mi su a thi kan ti thau ve kin
And anything with two heads is a monster.
luwa pan hi anei mi khal monster di me so tha kan ti de mo ram sa chalau mak sa kan ti de ka se.
So in the family, we must learn to attack the problems and not the person.
Churo it sa boy na ka umasi le hito ka boy na kha kan to rel dingi aminung kha kan to rel lau den.
Now, ladies, don't nag at your husband or your what? Even your what you call it, your sons.
No pile pasal fa te karla ka khan le kha chin ti he wo ke kul le ke kha bom na kha to deng sila.
But there are men also who nag at the women also.
No na mi rek phang tan
Yes. You will make them run away.
in sung sang them che gong na ka chang theo.
And another thing is that if you bring up past offenses, you must be able to sit together and settle it.
Aliam chia mi thu la a in sung sang boy asi le tau pi men lavin khat le khat atha zo rin ti chem tum lek se.
Now you also must be an example.
So mi tu ni a pi bi se khat le khat franga zau thim ta ke nu tum lek se.
Now you see when parents they fight and they quarrel,
No le pa fa le mai ko le non simok le thabok tika.
they are going to do the same when they grow up.
Fa le khabek chia kha anu patika an to be dem.
Remember that. They will be 12 times more worse than you,
No le pa na mane around so be se so an to lai dem.
abusing their spouses or abusing their children.
An fa le para mo an bi pa sal para mo nu le pai pa an bu mi kha an to sal tem tem.
Then you must be brave, courageous.
Chulwa ran thak na thon hi le hi kan to rel thiam dek thu bi se.
If you have done something wrong, you must be able to sit down with your wife or your husband and talk it out.
Boy beng mo pal nak au mi khang ran thasatin ngai dam di la pha in khat le khat kan ti fel ding khat jon.
When they find out, if you don't, you are going to be in bad trouble.
Siang ruwa di le chu ti ve kan to rel kan phi sin lao si le in song sang boy nak khe koi nak khen to chang le thei.
Now, many marriage counselors, they say that divorces are the result of poor communication.
In song sang a thena pol counseling atua tu mi thiam pol an ren mia in sang thenok na tam big hi pe samong nak tha au la ro sian te.
So you see, if they learn to talk, they will save their marriage.
Khale khat thuro ong na ki khale khat sang te o re ta na au ma si len an run sok man theo.
So you see, when strong family have good coping skills.
Chrowa in song sang a chak mi chun.
Now, in families, in anywhere also, you will always have problems. We have problems.
Kan ma long silaw himi hi in sang khuak so mi si mi dang khat an tot thu mi si.
Problems will be there. You cannot run away.
So boy na ki si lei tu la adan so thei tu an law de.
So you see, we must come together and solve the problem and put it to the Lord for Him to solve for us.
Chrowa suin hat san na le boy na a khet tin ten kan ma so nen ato rel dan a phi sin dan thiam ding kha to bi to.
Now you see, if divorces were caused by problems, we could all be divorced, isn't it?
Pia tanga ruwa har san na ro thelo ding si bang ta sa lei tun mi kan theno mul tho ding. Asinan phi sin tak ding to rel tak ding kha in sang get kha kan ko tau se.
It's just we must come together and talk it out and put it before God.
Khale khat ro in pathian ma khen ta ngin to rel tak ding kan.
Now remember, all families have problems.
In sub sang tin ate atum boy na ka ukho.
Now each family is different from each family. Their problems.
Khale khat tul sam mi boy na aba wa chiao la.
You see, some families they see the problem as crisis.
He kan in sub sang chun an ton mi har san na khat tum sa le har sa tin an mo.
But there are some other families who can see the same problem as an opportunity to make things better.
Khalama in sub sang ro na tha nei to chun an har sat na kha in sang to that sin na le ra rin thiam na ka ta an phang theo.
Now, someone also said God's best presents He gives to His children are wrapped in problems.
Boy pa in minung pol khoi pe pa ro in ta atun le thaswa in per le in kai boy na ka ziang ve ka alang chu alang ban theo ti len har sat na ki in tum cha na se.
So you see, the bigger the problem, the bigger the present.
Boy pai umpi na hi kan har sat na atum pau len arak tum ve theo.
If you are willing to unwrap it.
Churoga chui har sat na su visin pathian thu ruang in lan so kan tum ding.
So you see, how we respond to our problems will make or break it us.
So ipia na kan phi sin da da kan in sam fe ding kan phi sin da adik law len theno na ka adik asilen in sang na ka fe de.
So we have got to learn to attack our problems together.
Siang ve har sat na khal boy pa thoi pa tang ding kha kan tum ta ding mi se.
Instead of attacking each other.
Khal le khat e lo boy la boy yok se la boy pa ke ma phi sin tang ding se.
So you see, strong families have strong sense of consecration.
Khal le khat ngai sakong na khal le khat zon ro na khali in sang get ding a in arak to.
Now there is no way to have a truly successful family without giving God first place.
Boy pa kan in sang apa khat na asi dan sum kan in sang nom si da lo le.
Now we have to convey it to our children. Kids watch what we are like at church and at home.
Now ha por khalin piak in kan mizya in sang kan mizya siang kim hibang ra in mo hai se.
Now if parents attend church regularly, about 75% of their children remain faithful.
In song sang fa le Sunday school kai no le pa khom nget gau pol ki an fa le ki an upatika mi khom thaba an sang reng reng.
Now if both parents don't attend regularly, about 6% remain faithful.
Asinan siang siang lau tu pol an fa le khal chwe kin an fe ve se.
Now remember, the example of parents and adults is more important than all the efforts of church and Sunday school.
Minau de pol play role pol hanga hin nu le pai kan sia sa kan chang ve hin naw hak nak man hin a thupi in ra bin tul de mi se.
So this is just the outward spiritually. Now if you want success rate to explode, then make sure that it is a real thing when no one is looking.
Zau mari in zau lau lai chan khala thiam chatua le adik dani ke kar tak ding kha in sung sa kan tum ding.
Make sure that your spouses see the same person in the car when you leave the church as you were minutes ago in the pew.
Rinum na thula khala nupi le pasalin kan mal kan sola midang thoi pe paro khale rinum na khala zumong na kan nei ding khatun.
Now character is what you do when no one is looking.
Zia za ti mi zau mari in zau lau lai cha ni kan nun da chak chi ka se.
But remember, you cannot hide anything from your family.
Ai sinan na in sa ra chin na zia za chun na thup rei thei lau de.
Make sure your spouse and children see the real thing consistently and not just put on show for others.
Hiti asha pia min selawin kan nun dan zia za cha dik ta kha in sung sa in an bu e an te nga ding khatul mi se.
So you must be what you are in church and outside.
Ko khani kan nun dan ale kan nun dan in sa kan nun dan kham dang ran thu ding kha boi pai lu mi se.
So remember, our God deserves our consecration in private as well as in public.
Boi pa kan thu pi ter na chi bul pa ki kan le ale kan ba suan cha da bang ra te ke kan kar ding kha atul tu mi se.
So to build a strong dynamic family that will stand up in life, we must have commitment. No matter
Chalo
what.
in sung sang ke khau mi achak mi a ho thil mi din de ga chun khat le khat sami pe ko na nun kha kan nei ka thu bi
Communion, time together.
khat le khat san pe ko kha thu bi
Communication. God,
khat le khat bia ko khat le khat ruok tang kha thu bi
God makes two in one. So let's get on the same wavelength and really share.
boi pa in mi pan di kha pa khata a chan ter a kum bang to in sung sang khal je daro sel kun khata tau tang thu re tang ne kha thu bi
Coping. Attacks the problems, not the person.
zau khali kan ton mi harsan na in sung sang kan ton mi aminong selawin harsan na pia ta na son kha kan phi sin tang de
And the last one is consecration. Be the genuine article.
nun dik nun cha asung ale nun dan ba mo ti mi kha kan ma nun pi kan ton de
God bless each and every one of you.
boi pa in an za de so na lo kan se
And I pray that each and every one of you continue to look to our Lord as your head in your family.
nabul pa ka na in sa nga boi pa hi azau ring ring to le apakhat na thu pi bi ke nan re de ka tu so na a lei che de ka lo so do
And I guarantee you,
tho ka lo kam ma se
you will not fail in anything in your family life or anything that you do.
boi pa apakhat na ke re phot sun dei thun thil dang ki tha pha ne ka kum la
God bless you.
boi pa so na lo bes de
Queen so kay ma bông na karan lấy le van sel siam tu bôi pa chặt lòng vin kay ma